You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
Will help my body playing every single day. So you do this and your body will be like recover. It's gonna be like 100% every single day.
Do you have aches and pains? Perhaps you should give cryotherapy a shot, where your body is exposed to sub-zero temperatures. How does it work? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on cryotherapy in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. As students from the Florida high school where 17 people, including 14 teenagers, were killed less than a week ago, watched on, state legislators voted down a motion to take up a bill banning assault rifles, effectively killing the measure for the session. The motion failing by a 36-71 vote. Republican leaders in the House and Senate say they will consider proposals including raising age restrictions for gun purchases and the red flag bill regarding temporarily taking away someone's guns if they are deemed a threat to others. The group of about 100 students is making the 400-mile trip to the state capitol to pressure lawmakers to act on a sweeping package of gun control laws. The students plan to hold a rally tomorrow night at 9 and will be streaming it live from the event. You can watch it on our website, www.mysuncoast.com. In related news, on the same day the Florida House declined to even debate a bill banning assault weapons, legislators declared pornography a health risk. No, we're not kidding. The House of Representatives approved the resolution today. By a voice vote, the resolution states a need for education, research, and policy changes to protect Floridians, especially teenagers, from pornography. Protect Florida teenagers from porn less than a week after 14 teenagers were shot and killed in their school. So what do some Florida legislators want to do to protect students at school? Give teachers guns, arming school employees, expanding background checks, and revamping the Baker Act law to keep guns away from people experiencing mental health issues were among subjects discussed at a workshop where one of the meetings quickly organized by Governor Rick Scott's office to respond to the mass shooting last week in Broward County's Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
With the tragedy in Broward County today, I think the coalescence of something needing to be done has become way beyond crystal clear.
The officers also spoke about gaping loopholes in the Baker Act, noting law enforcement can't take guns away from people who have threats of violence after being released from a mental health facility and are able to purchase firearms. Governor Scott is pushing for improving mental health screenings, better integration of data, coordination of care, and early screening and assessment were among recommendations from a panel of mental health experts. Nicholas Cruz was charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder after gunning down students and faculty. Cruz had a lengthy history of mental health issues, and the FBI received at least 2 reports he posed a threat to others.
We need to start talking about mental illness in the schools. It needs to be as common a conversation as heart disease, autism, breast cancer. 1 in 5 people have a mental health condition each year.
Experts also concede that identifying and treating every would-be school shooter like Cruz may not put an end to tragedies like the one last week in Parkland, but early assessment can significantly cut down the possibilities. Here on the Suncoast, 2 Bradenton students are under arrest charged with threatening the safety of students at Team Success Charter School. 2 11-year-old girls are now facing felony charges after sheriff's deputies say they posted the threat on Snapchat. Law enforcement is warning students to stop social media threats or they will face serious consequences. From the school's district perspective, students face a 10-day suspension and possible expulsion. Riverview High, Manatee High, Braden River schools all had threats this week.
Making school threats is no joke, and people will be held accountable. So if you're a parent out there and you have kids in the school system, you need to sit down and talk to them.
There was a threat made at Braden River Middle School yesterday. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office does have the child they say is responsible in custody, but no charges have been filed yet. It has been just over 24 hours since Congressman Tom Rooney announced he would not seek re-election. Now names are being floated as possible successors. Well, one of those names made it official he is not interested. On his social media today, Sarasota County Sheriff Tom Knight announced he will not seek the congressional seat being vacated by Rooney. Knight said, quote, "I am honored to have been mentioned as a viable candidate. However, the highest honor I hold is that of being your sheriff. To that end, serving the community I grew up in is something I hold in the highest regard, and for that reason, I will not be running for Congress," end quote. Rooney was scheduled to visit Nokomis this evening, but his team announced he will not address his constituents just minutes before the scheduled start of the event, and we'll have more on that coming up tonight at 11. Now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
This looks more like June, Alan, as opposed to here we are mid-February. 90 degrees. I guess that groundhog got it wrong. We had an early spring and now an early summer, it seems like. 70 the low temperature, 74 is the normal. So we were well above the normal temperature, and it set a record for the date, 85, the old mark set back in 1997. In fact, the 90-degree temperature is the warmest it's ever been in the month of February here along the west coast of Florida. It's the Sarasota Braden Airport. 77 our current temperature, so it's dropped a little bit, and the winds are calm now, and the pressure 30, 28. With a high dew point, we can expect a good deal of fog, I think, forming, a little bit more so than we had this morning. And right now, temperatures currently all in the 70s from the Panhandle down to Miami and Key West. It's 78 degrees there, 76 in Orlando. And the culprit for all the hot air is this high pressure ridge, which has not been budging. Actually, it's been getting stronger throughout the last several hours, and it continues to bring us that east to southeasterly wind flow around it. Unfortunately, what it's also doing is it's pumping an extreme amount of moisture into parts of Texas and into Oklahoma. You can see those big storms there firing up, but they had severe weather there earlier in Texas this morning, causing all sorts of problems. And then for us, we're under the warm sector, and that warm air will continue to stay with us, it looks like, right through the weekend and beyond. This is not going to move much. This is a dangerous situation, not so much for us, but for these folks, as a steady stream of moisture will continue to funnel in. It will get some ground and move into West Tennessee on Friday and Saturday. But right now, that heavy rain falling is causing all sorts of flooding concerns into northern Illinois near Chicago, and then places to the east of that in South Bend, Fort Wayne, and then up and through Michigan. And for us, no rainfall around, but Alan likes always to see this. This is the chaff coming up from the military exercises in the Keys. So no rain around. When you get this kind of dry air, you can pretty much bet that is not rainfall out there in the Gulf of Mexico. So if you're looking at your weather app, and hopefully it's ours, you want to download ours, go to your app store and download our First Alert weather app. Just search WWSP.
Yeah, we need your mojo to do something about the rain in Tennessee, because a certain son of mine is starting his college baseball career on Saturday, and we need blue skies.
I'll look into it, but right now it doesn't look good. So.
Okay, we'll check back on
exactly.
that. And still to come, if you are burning up with these record highs Bob was just talking about, we have just the thing to cool you off, cryotherapy. We'll tell you how it works after the break.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch ABC7 wherever you are, on our live stream, on mysuncoast.com, on the ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, dining with recipes, and My Suncoast Restaurant Guide. Visit mysuncoast.com. Click on the Apps tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for Apple and Android.
Fortunately, this was my first job out of college, so I was able to come back home and work in my hometown. I wore two hats. I was sports director and I was a news anchor. I did that for a few years and then decided to go full-time into news. Well, I love our team here at ABC7. We have a great mix, and it really is a great mix of personalities, of experience that meshes really well into a really strong team. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service, It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
In life after the military, it's our duty as veterans to have each other's back. I'm retired Colonel Greg Gatson, and it's my mission to help you get the benefits and services you've earned. If you need to file a VA claim, remember these important steps. Submit an online claim through ebenefits.va.gov. Work with an accredited Veteran Service Organization, or VSO. And if you need to attend a VA claim exam, please go. Visit this website to learn what to expect.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device.
I say cryotherapy, and you say, isn't that what they use to hibernate on all those deep space missions and sci-fi movies? But cryotherapy is an actual thing used by top athletes and folks like you and me. Dwayne Lindo is here to explain. Dwayne.
Well, Alan, whole body therapy seems to be the latest trend when it comes to treating a number of medical issues. Many claim it even gave them increased energy levels immediately after treatment. And although research on cryotherapy is limited, some say the benefits are endless.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
As Cryex owner Biko Claxton fills a chamber with oxygenated air, Amy prepares for her weekly cryotherapy session after 2 hip surgeries. Claxton says whole body cryotherapy involves supercooling the body using liquid nitrogen. He has a machine in-house to treat his clients, where he and his wife perform on-site therapy. Some of his first-time clients say the experience can be jarring at first.
I felt some pins and needles. My legs definitely froze.
You feel numb, you know? Nothing.
Well, it's as simple as this. You're dressed in a robe and you enter a cryosauna that exposes your body to extremely low temperatures, up to minus 200 degrees, all in an effort to alleviate aches and pains.
I feel rejuvenated.
When exiting the cryosauna, blood is pumped back around the body, increasing oxygen and removing toxins. John Richardson has been utilizing cryotherapy for a couple months now and says the required 2 to 3 minutes in the chamber helps him immensely.
I drive around all day sitting down most of the time in the car, and my lower back has a lot of problems. Well, this allows me the pain to dissipate.
Claxton claims it can improve sleep and help skin conditions for his clients. For Mimi Mubaideen, who visits Cryex on a regular basis, she says it achieves so much more.
I noticed a big change in my diet and just overall energy, which was really important because I don't drink caffeine or any other supplements, and so this really helped amp up my energy levels.
And it's not just everyday folks, according to chiropractor Dr. Will Abrams. It's also being used by many professional sports players to gain a quicker recovery.
They're running around, they're harming their body by doing those sports, so they want to get back to their sport as fast as possible. So the cryotherapy is going to help them heal and decrease that inflammation so that they can get back on the field faster and their body can perform better.
Former Major League Baseball and current Japanese League player Willie Mopena making the trip every week.
It will help my body playing every single day, so you do this and your body will be like recovered. It's gonna be like 100% every single day.
Arena League football player Amari Jackson says he wasn't sold on the idea at first and was used to using a cold tub.
I know coming home on the off season, jumping in here last year and stuff like that, it made my body feel so good training, and I had never felt like I felt after doing this.
Saying he is now utilizing therapy twice a week.
I had patellar tendonitis, really heavy. And just after a few treatments, you know, the change in that, you know, after playing some basketball, doing some jumps, stuff like that, just explosive stuff that I need.
And in a world where cortisone injections are rampant, Dr. Abrams says the benefits of natural alternatives should be looked at more closely.
They need to be trying to other alternatives for pain relief, rather than going and dealing with medications to opiates. We've seen that opiates are a big problem in the U.S.
But according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, this cool trend lacks evidence and poses risks. FDA's medical officer, Aaron Eustine, says given a growing interest from consumers in whole-body cryotherapy, the FDA has informally reviewed the medical literature on the subject. We found very little evidence about its safety or effectiveness in treating the conditions for which it's being promoted. Dr. Abrams says it's always good to consult a physician to make sure cryotherapy is a good option. But overall, the potential benefits of the treatment are immense.
And if you're hesitant at all, I mean, you can always just revert back to doing the ice for 15 to 20 minutes, but that doesn't feel great to ice an area for 15 to 20 minutes when you can come in here and be in here for 2 to 3 minutes.
Now, cryotherapy is not recommended for pregnant women, those who have had recent surgeries, or patients with blood pressure issues.
Dwayne, thank you. When we return, we step onto the trapezoid, which sometimes causes the aches and pains, at the least when we talk about politics. Be right back.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking a director of newscasts and studio productions. Newscast directing experience required. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply.
Welcome back. From NFL stars to folks just like us, cryotherapy is an increasingly popular way to treat muscle spasms, inflammation, sports injuries, but also migraines, arthritis, Lyme disease, a whole host of things. But is it for real, and what does the medical community think? Joining us for more is Dr. Eugene Pereira, Medical Director of Sarasota Memorial Hospital's Pain Care Center, Biko Claxton, the owner of CryX Whole Body Cryotherapy, and Jesse Claxton, co-owner of CryX. Joining us by Skype is Lakewood Ranch's own Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie of the New York Football Giants. And Dominique, let me start with you because one cannot think of a more a profession that you could have which is harder on the body than football. How has this helped you?
It helped me a lot. Going into it, I was kind of like skeptical about it, because it's definitely cold, and I'm not used to being in the cold tub. But my man Biko just kept telling me to come through, and I finally came through. Man, after this, man, I've been young again.
We saw on Dwayne's story there that in the older days you would just get into a a bath of ice. But I've also seen videos of a lot of NFL teams using this and players all over the league. Is this kind of the in thing to do at this stage?
Yeah, I think so. I think get into the ice bath. You're in there for 20 minutes. This only takes a maximum of 3 minutes, and you can control it. And when you come out, man, it just makes you feel better. After the first time, I'm like, man, and then once you just keep going, you just feel better and better. And the most amazing thing is I see people up to 80 years old going into it, and it's definitely helping them. I'm seeing them afterwards going to walk 5 miles a day. I mean, it's amazing for the body.
Let me ask you this, because I would imagine in your line of work, you pull muscles a lot, you damage muscles a lot. Is this a way of recovering faster from those injuries, or just basically keeping you on the field?
I think it's a way to recover. I definitely had some body injuries, man, and coming out there, I feel a difference. I'm able to move. I feel like my old self again, just moving fast, and my fast twitch muscles working better. So I definitely think it's a recovery mechanism.
Doctor, I mean, these places are popping up. Bico is in Hillsborough County. There are places like this in Sarasota County and Pinellas. What's your view? I mean, you treat people for pain. Is this, and there's been some discussion here about the FDA doesn't approve it quite yet. What are your thoughts?
So, the scientific evidence out there is based on 7 studies. A quick background: this was first introduced in Japan in the late 70s for people with rheumatoid arthritis, but it has been stretched out and now has found favor among young athletes that are looking to rejuvenate from playing field injuries. The evidence is not there that it's actually restorative or healing. It's for pain relief till the next session or till the next visit to the cryotherapy machine. So the studies out there showed that the temperature drop 2 centimeters below the skin was just 2 degrees, with a 110-degree drop in nitrogen.
But Bico, you work with a lot of athletes, and I know that there are athletes that have had a hard time staying on the field, and they're now claiming that they're able to recover and get back to what they were doing a lot quicker than they were.
Correct, and not just the athletes, because as I'm a trainer as well, and 1 month I went through what we call Squat-tober, so every day I'm squatting. So I'm 40 years old, and at 40, I know my body don't recover as fast as I would when I was 20. So doing Squat-tober, that's when I tested out cryotherapy, and every day I was doing the cryo, and I was able to front squat 295 pounds.
Jesse, what range of people are coming in?
As far as ages?
Ages, and for what reasons?
A pretty good variety. We have seen everyone down from 16 years old with parental consent up to 85, I believe. Yeah. So a good range. Pain relief is pretty much the #1, whether you're in athletics or if it's for a chronic condition. So we do see a lot of people that are just the unbearable, joint pain that every day, it really just slows them down. So
it's kind of weird right now, but we usually say right about now we are just getting warmed up. We'll have much more on cryotherapy after we check the first alert forecast. Stay with us.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Join ABC7 at the all-new 2018 edition of Circus Sarasota. Ovation under the big top at Nathan Benderson Park behind the mall at UTC. Friday, February 9th through Sunday, March 4th. All opening weekend tickets are 20% off, courtesy of ABC7. To purchase your discount tickets, visit circusarts.org. The Circus Sarasota box office at the big top, or call 941-355-9805.
Our conversation on cryotherapy continues right after we get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Alan, get a look at the tower cam right now. You can see the sun has set, but it was a nice, beautiful day on a very warm day at that. Temperatures topped out at 90 degrees. Here's what it looked like out on the beaches earlier, and you can see gorgeous beach weather right there as we take a look at time. Waves are running less than 2 feet, and it looks as though we will see calm conditions again tomorrow out on the waters. We are not anticipating anything too rough. A beautiful sunset tonight, as I mentioned, on Casey Key, and some high, thin cirrus clouds around, but that was about it. And big rain now moving through Texas, Oklahoma, up through Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, into Michigan. That's where the flooding rains are occurring. It's kind of rotating all around this area of high pressure. It continues to pump in this rainfall and moisture from those areas around that dome of high pressure, which will slide just a little bit and build over the top of us over the upcoming days, even stronger still. We're looking for record highs tomorrow, with highs expected to be into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. That's more like June as opposed to mid-February. You can see that rain training across parts of Michigan tonight, northern Indiana near South Bend, and heading toward Fort Wayne down to Champaign into Chicago. Chicago under a flood warning right now, flood warning advisory, and that's occurring all across parts of western Michigan. And more rain, unfortunately, is in store for those folks over the next at least 12 hours. And 77 degrees here. We're just in for some fog, I think. Late tonight and tomorrow morning, the fog could be rather thick. The barometer, 30.28. That is high. That continues to rise, and there's the high. 90 degrees, that set a record. 85 was the old mark set back in 1997. I mentioned the fog. That'll be about the downside of our weather tomorrow morning. It'll get out of here fairly quickly, though. By 9, 10 o'clock, it'll start to burn off and lift off into the Gulf. We'll see that east to southeast wind, and that will have a tendency to warm us up. 87 degrees. Our normal high for this time of year, 75 degrees. So once again, we could set another record. It'll be the third consecutive day we had record high temperatures here along west central Florida. Well, the futurecast is showing just once in a while a few showers along the east coast of Florida, working their way in from the Atlantic, and once in a while, one or two of those will hang on all the way to the west coast late in the afternoon. That rain chance, though, is only at 20%. Some big storms, a possibility of severe weather from Texas to Louisiana to Arkansas tomorrow, as that warm, moist air kind of collides with that colder air behind it. And that area in pink that you see, that's all freezing rain and winter weather advisories for central and northern portions of Missouri tonight. Wind chill temperatures, minus 13 in Billings. That's what it feels like, 10 in Kansas City. Look at the big contrast, though, as that Arctic air is just kind of hung up well to the west and north of us. Temperatures still in the 70s in Cleveland. It's 72 degrees there in the nation's capital. Warmed up to near 80 degrees expected tomorrow in the nation's capital. That cold Arctic air that looks like polar lobe will stay well to the west of us over the upcoming week. By Thursday, we start to see a little bit cooler temperatures moving in. And by the 1st of March, we should get back into the 70s for highs, as opposed to the 80s that we've seen for so long now. Boaters tomorrow, southeast winds at 10 knots, and seas will be running just less than 2 feet with a light chop out there. There it is, hot temperatures tomorrow into the upper 80s through Friday. A little bit cooler, but temperatures still into the mid 80s on Saturday and Sunday. and low temperatures into the mid-60s, a 20% chance for a few showers. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, what was once impossible is happening today for thousands of patients with blood cancer.
I live.
I live. I live. I live. I live. She lives.
Because of the research done by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in the battle against blood cancer.
If you had a chance to support the research that is saving lives, what would you do?
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Welcome back. We're talking about cryotherapy, and joining us for more is Dr. Eugene Pereira, Medical Director of Sarasota Memorial Hospital's Pain Care Center, Biko Claxton, the owner of Cryax, whole body cryotherapy, Jesse Claxton, the co-owner of Cryax, and joining us by Skype is Lakewood Ranch's own Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie of the New York Giants. And Dominique, I know your battery is running down there, but while we have you there, do the Giants have a position in terms of you and the other players using Cryax?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Wait, how did I do? Can you see me?
Yeah. Do the Giants?
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's definitely recommended. I think, like I said, it's a different mechanism from the cold tub, and it's quick, fast. It's not as painless, and it definitely hurts. I mean, it definitely helps you. And every time I come out of it, I feel like I'm adding years on to my career.
Once you get into the off season and you begin your workouts again, what kind of schedule do you have in terms of working out, and then how often do you use cryotherapy?
I think you use it as much as you need it for your body to feel the results. I ask people all the time, man, how many times can I come in a week? He tell me people come in every day. You know what? But I use it maybe 3 times a week, and I feel great afterward, using it 3 times a week. But you could come in up to like every day. You can also go in before your games or activities. Like when I do off season, I'm doing training. I go in before training, and you come in after training because it's a quick process.
Right. All right, Dominique, I'm going to thank you right now because I know your battery is running down there, and this is your territory down here because you are a legend in terms of local sports around here. So we appreciate you joining us. And Biko, let me ask you this, because as somebody who works with athletes, injury and injury recovery and keeping inflammation down is really so important in terms of people's health and being able to compete on a consistent basis.
Correct. And especially when it comes to sports, you're as good as your last game. So if you're not able to perform on the field, you might as well know your contract is being lost or something else, someone's coming in to replace you. So these guys, they try their best to find some way or form to get back on the playing field. And what we provide is a natural, holistic form. We also do soft tissue work on the guys to make sure, you know, whatever injuries they have, we tell them to seek with their medical doctors as well. And once that's done, then we get them in the machine and they start recovering a lot faster.
You know, doctor, if you're just going the traditional route here, when injuries are usually dealt with in terms of ice and trying to get the swelling and inflammation down. So what's the difference between putting ice on and doing something like this?
Well, more facilities and advances in delivering cold temperature to the body have resulted in whole body cryotherapy, either with the whole body inside or the head outside the machine. Studies are not backing the data that anecdotally says patients or athletes more likely than patients feel better after a cryotherapy session. Nothing like a good cold refreshing bath to make someone feel fresh even if they didn't have good sleep. Now, athletes are one thing because they have this constant bruising damage to their body as part of their occupation, which is inevitable if they want to stay on top of their game. But to push this out to people who have chronic disease is a whole new ballgame altogether.
Let me ask you this, because in fact we're doing a whole show on this later on this week in terms of reliance on opioid for pain relief. If this is a more holistic approach that people think is helping in some way and not harming them, is it worthwhile?
Absolutely. Show me the evidence and I'll be the first to send my patients for whole body cryotherapy. The evidence is not out there. And by that I mean scientific evidence where what works for the goose works for the gander. I mean, with caveats, of course, that no two people are alike. But the fact of the matter is there is no long-term study which ostensibly mainstream medicine has used to promote or approve mainstream medications or therapies. Now, for people with rheumatoid arthritis, people with chronic disease, Alzheimer's, I mean, if this was the end-all and be-all, people would be flocking here and canceling the insurance.
Right. But Jesse, you are seeing people with those maladies, arthritis and so forth, come in, and how has the business been growing in terms of people coming in?
It's been growing a lot. It's strictly been pretty much word of mouth lately from when we started, but you know, the word is getting out and people are really seeking alternatives because what they're coming across is either they're being pushed towards surgery or more medications. We've had people that have been on 25 different medications just to treat one single issue that they have.
Okay. We have to take a quick break and we'll be back in just a moment.
My name is Stefan Campagna. We're Van Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been injured in an accident, whether or not it's your fault, your insurance company might be responsible for some of your expenses. So give us a call. We've got your back.
It's time to take a road trip. Alabama's got 100 road trips, and some of the best are music to your ears, like the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. Or head over to Muscle Shoals and Fame Studios. Are you a star yet?
My mama thinks so.
Or, if that's your stomach I hear grumbling, our barbecue is almost a religious experience. Food good here? Best in the country. Alabama's got 100 road trips. Which one you gonna take?
All hands on deck. What's up? I want to point out 3 tips for using the home computer more safely. Point away.
First, stop. Make sure your software is up to date and that you've password protected your computer's login and Wi-Fi connection.
Next, think before visiting a site, opening attachments, or clicking on links.
Then connect, knowing you're helping make the web safer for you
and for everyone. Make Stop, Think, Connect part of your daily online routine.
I'll be right back.
using exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Welcome back. We're talking about cryotherapy, and just let me start with you. How did you and Biko discover this business and what it possibly could do?
Well, I've been working in the chiropractic industry for the last 10 years. My background is in exercise science, so I've always been in the health and wellness industry. And of course, with the gym, we've just been across a lot of athletes and stuff that have really kind of opened our eyes to this. And so just with research and a little urging from some friends and family, you know, we kind of took the leap and decided like this was, you know, our way of kind of getting involved in this holistic approach to healing.
Right, Biko, and this is used widely by, you know, by NFL teams and Major League Baseball teams and so forth. I mean, I remember seeing, you know, the players from the I think it was the Denver Broncos going there, Aqib Talib, I believe.
Yeah.
And so this is being used more and more throughout professional sports.
Correct. And the number one thing with professional sports, they want their athletes to perform at a high level. So cold tub, when they use the cold tub, it's usually after the game to recover. Well, with the cryo sauna, once you get out of it, after you do a 3-minute session, 2 to 3 minute session, it actually releases endorphins. So now you have professional athletes playing on a higher level because now they're full of energy and they're ready to go. So now that's why a lot of teams are incorporating it, bringing it into their facility and having the guys jump in before the game so they can play at a high level. And then when they're finished, they come back and do it again so they can recover.
So, doctor, let me ask you, if you're dealing with athletes, whether they're pro athletes or college or high school or whatever, how important is it after, you know, being banged around on the playing field to reduce inflammation from those muscles and joints in order to have a quicker recovery?
Absolutely. If you want your champion to come back and bounce back to the next game, which might be within a few hours of the previous one, you want to have them in as much of a fit shape as possible. But the news media is rife with statements where these athletes were pumped with opioids and Toradol to be able to get them to get out onto the next game and not feel the pain.
Right. So wouldn't this be a good thing if you're not using opioid-based medications?
So let me posit to you that if that was a good thing, this story of opioids and Toradol would not have come out anyway because no one would have used them and used cryotherapy instead. I mean, cryotherapy has been there for the last 30 years by everyone's admission, or even longer, 78 if you can do the math. But if it was that that benefit was so pronounced that these guys could bounce back into the game next morning if they were on the road, if they had a portable cryotherapy machine, if you will, opioids would not have come to the forefront in the first place. Let's look at it from that point of view. I mean, it's not that opioids are not being used anymore or Toradol is not being used anymore. It's mainstream medicine that's still being used to push these athletes onto the field. Okay, granted, they may have gone for a session of cryotherapy or two between games, but if this was so much better or even equal to opioids or non-steroidals.
Well, let me ask you.
Absolutely.
Do you see a move among the professional athletes that you're working with to rely less on those kinds of shots, or cortisone shots, which are sometimes used or often used for pain relief?
Definitely. What's going on is the guys are now realizing that, okay, I might take a shot, but the injury might still be there. What is causing the injury? And now that the guys are getting smarter and not just listening to the doctor and taking a shot, they're starting to be aware, like, okay, there's another way that I can do this. And not only that, but the athletes, like the general population are looking at athletes like, I can't do what they do because they're athletes. The athletes are looking at the general pop like, I'm just like them, I'm a human being just like them. My bicep is the same bicep like theirs. It's just the way I choose to spend my 24 hours is on the playing field versus being in an office. So at the end of it, my skeletal makeup is just the same as the general population.
Jesse, is it your hope that the medical community, whether it's the FDA or other research organizations, do the work that needs to be done in terms of finding out scientifically whether this works, so the medical community accepts it as well?
It would be great if the medical community would accept more alternative therapies, but to be honest, I feel like the reality is it's just not where the industry is heading. I feel like the pharmaceutical industry in itself has such a tie on what therapies people really will turn to. So it would be nice, but it's hard to say.
We'll be back for final thoughts in just a moment. Stay with us.
Rugs as Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Thousands of award-winning Honda Civics are on sale for $169 a month during the Honda President's Day sales event. You made Civic the best-selling compact car in America. Drive one today for just $169 a month, or save thousands on your Civic with 0.9% financing. Civic, a KBB.com best buy for less than the competition. Only $169 a month or 0.9% this week at your local Honda dealer.
Honda, I like it. Oh yeah, I like it.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Jesse, what do you want people to walk away from this conversation? Because we're getting a lot of perspectives here.
I really want them to walk away with an understanding that there are real alternatives out there to just taking medications. And, some people just are not getting that relief that they were really promised when, they could spend $3,000 a month on medication to treat rheumatoid arthritis. We've had clients where their insurance has dropped them and now they were left with that out-of-pocket expense. So for something like $400 a month, they can come in as often as they want, get therapy, and get real relief. So just keeping an open mind to new alternatives.
Vico, is it your hope, because you work with so many professional athletes, but also, as we said, amateurs, college, high school athletes, and so forth, that the sports industry is going to move away from, heavy medications and shots in terms of keeping athletes on the field, and to be more open to exploring alternatives?
Definitely. Like I said, I used to play baseball as well, and the number one thing, I didn't even want to take a protein shake. And then once I learned, the protein can help recovery, I said, okay, I'll take the protein shake. But moreover, with injuries and stuff, the athletes today, they're performing on such a higher level, like working out. They're working out from their 12 and 13 years old. you know, to go on to college. So they're doing a lot of stress to their bodies. The number one thing that I talk to parents about is when it comes to recovery, just like a cell phone, if the iPhone comes out, they research and they can tell you everything about the iPhone, but when someone tells them about their body, they do no research on it. So it's so important that you can go out and seek help.
And Doctor, I'm going to give you the last word because you say that you often look for alternatives to opioid pain medication. Is the search for these alternatives an important thing to continue to look for?
Let me get out of my soapbox here. Once upon a time, dinosaurs were sitting and looking at bright lights coming in the sky, and they were lamenting the fact that they did not have better sunglasses to look at those bright lights. They did not realize it was the impending doom. Humanity at this point is sitting at that spot where if we don't change what we hold to be true and turn it on its head, we will die.
All right, we have to leave it there on such a happy note. FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And for the latest on local breaking news, don't forget to download the updated version of our app. If your current app doesn't work, it's expired, just go to the App Store and re-download it by searching for WWSB or My Suncoast. We want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. Dr. Eugene Pereira, Medical Director of Sarasota Memorial Hospital's Pain Care Center. Biko Claxton, owner of Cryex Whole Body Cryotherapy. Jesse Claxton, the co-owner of Cryex, and joining us by Skype, Lakewood Ranch's own Dominique Rogers-Cromartie of the New York Football Giants. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather. Plus, do the American people feel our government is doing enough to prevent mass shootings from happening? Stay with us.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
It's time to take a road trip.
Burn rubber for Birmingham, where you can feed your need for speed at Barber Motorsports Park and Museum. Now this gets my motor running. Meet Iron Men. Hey there, big guy. And make a date with your 9-iron. Feed the animals at the zoo and the birds. Then enjoy the award-winning restaurant scene. Alabama has a road trip with your name on it.
Which one you gonna take?
Many websites selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
Checking primetime headlines, last week's mass shooting in Florida has mobilized students at the school and may even be pressuring political leaders to take action. President Trump is signaling his administration is opening to changing some gun laws. ABC's Tara Palmieri reports from Washington.
The pressure is on Washington to act on gun violence. President Trump announced today that he ordered the Department of Justice to ban bump stocks.
To propose regulations to ban all devices that turn legal weapons into machine guns.
According to an ABC Washington Post poll, 6 in 10 Americans blame the White House and Congress for not doing enough to prevent mass shootings. Students around the country have been protesting after one of the deadliest school shootings in American history last week. And while Americans say there's a problem, they're split on a solution. 77% think that better mental health screening and treatment are the solution. Only 58% say stricter gun control could have prevented the massacre. President Trump has spoken to Texas Senator Cornyn about a bill that calls for updating the instant background check system. The NRA supports this bill, but many still wonder if the president's half-hearted support will make a difference.
If he were to move just a little bit, it could potentially move Congress as well.
Meanwhile, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi wants Congress to go further than just fixing the background check system.
Background checks, research from the Centers for Disease Control, and a committee, select committee to say, let's get this job done.
The New York Times reports that Russian bots have been exploiting the divisions within our country with Twitter hashtags that are for and against gun control. The poll shows other signs of the divide in the country. 42% of respondents said that teachers should be armed to protect students. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, Washington.
A youth baseball team in Missouri is getting national attention for raffling an AR-15 to raise money for traveling expenses. A father of one of the players is the co-founder of a local gun manufacturer which provided the gun. The raffle was organized before last week's school shooting in Parkland involving an AR-15 which left 17 dead. The city of Neosho's mayor says that makes the timing unfortunate, but he supports the raffle and thinks opposition to it is coming from people who live elsewhere.
They've been overwhelmed with a lot of positive support. I mean, the majority of it in this area is almost all the people are in support.
Baker says gun raffles are not uncommon in southwest Missouri, and he adds that the AR-15s are perfect hunting rifles for him and his children to shoot. A rare Tom Brady Super Bowl ring was auctioned off for more than $300,000 and $300,000. A family version of the ring commemorates the New England Patriots' win over the Atlanta Falcons in Super Bowl 51. It's reportedly the highest price ever paid for a Super Bowl ring. The 10-carat white gold ring has a football shape and features 265 diamonds. The family version is about 10% smaller than the one that Brady has and fewer diamonds, but the buyer prefers to remain anonymous. Even though I'm a Patriots fan, I can honestly say, not me. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.